Thank you for joining us this morning. You are listening in on Exit 19 Podcast Showroom with the Worthy Women of Wisdom. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we had an episode entitled Gun Violence and Police Accountability. And usually when we have a topic, it's two-part. We have one topic where we introduce a topic, and then we have the second part where we have the special guests come and speak about their relevance to that topic. And so we have a special guest this morning with us named Dr. Candace Brewer, who's going to continue our conversation about gun violence and police accountability. So we are so thankful that you are here with us this morning. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Candace. Dr. Candace is definitely passionate about institutionalized social justices. She's not one to shy away from a challenge. She has lofty goals and clearly aims to do it all. She has left no stone unturned in her quest to right every wrong which is brought to her attention. She has proven herself to be untiring social justice activist, a private investigator, a humanitarian, a motivational speaker, a youth mentor, and a ministry of the gospel of Jesus Christ. She has several degrees, listing from an associate's degree in criminal justice from Spartanburg Methodist College, a bachelor's in criminal justice, and a minor in IT from Virginia College. She has a master's degree in concentration in law from Florida State University, both a BA and an MA in biblical studies with a minor in business management for God's Glory Bible College, and to top it off, a PhD in theology and a minor concentration in divinity. And she's currently working on a doctorate in ministry. So she's pursuing another PhD. Dr. Brewer has dedicated over 21 years of her career formally advocating against civil rights violations. And at the present time, she works as a private investigator specializing in crime scene reconstruction. She has also served as a notary public for South Carolina for more than 12 years. She is a pastor of Peace and Power Ministries located in Greenville, South Carolina. And in addition, she provides consultation as a master life coach. Another project that she has poured her heart into is a nonprofit organization where she serves as the CEO and president of the South Carolina chapter of Protect Our Stolen Treasures, POST. Protect Our Stolen Treasures. Her mission through POST is to advocate for police accountability and to educate all communities on the dangers of gun violence. Dr. Brewer has raised 2 sons and has taken on the responsibility of raising 2 nieces and a nephew. And her timeless quote from Malcolm X is one that she often likes to cite, which states, I'm for truth, no matter who tells it. I'm for justice, no matter who it is for or against. I'm a human being first and foremost, and as such, I'm for whoever and whatever benefits humanity as a whole. So that encompasses her own personal life mission. And I'm just so blessed to have her here in our presence. So good morning, Dr. Candace. How are you?
I'm great, in yourself. Peace and power to everyone.
Yes, peace and power. We are doing just fine here at Worthy Women of Wisdom, and we are blessed to have you on our platform this morning.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes, ma'am. I want to know where it all started. What ignited your passion for all of the work that you're doing now? Take us down that road.
Well, I've been dealing with gun violence since I was a young kid. I lost my grandfather to gun violence. I lost my stepmother to gun violence. But it didn't really it impacted me then, but it didn't really have a great effect on me until November the 19th, 2003. And that was the day that my brother, Andre Roseman, and his friend, Raja Loris, they were both killed by gun violence. And it's actually still an unsolved homicide in Greenville County. Andre was my best friend. So that had a very deep impact on me.
Mm. When, and you said that happened in 2003. How old were they?
They were both 28.
Oh man, they was young.
Taken too soon.
Taken too soon.
And so when you experienced that, was that the incident that said, okay, I want to do something about gun violence?
Well, growing up, you know, when it happened within my family, you know, we had the funeral, we talked about it a little, and then it's like, okay, we have to move past this. But as an adult, when I had a brother that was killed January the 3rd, 1999, and that greatly, thank you, and that greatly impacted me. And it was like, okay, I have to do something. But in 2003, when Andre was killed, it was like, this is real life. Who's going to help me get through this? And I look back over the years to where it had happened so many times in my family before, and it was like, it was just me. So instead of me thinking that someone was going to come and save me, I said, I need to save myself. And not only that, I know there's other people in this world that are going through the same thing that we've been through. So I need to help them, not realizing that when I began to help other people, it actually helped myself. So it's kind of like self-therapy.
Yes, I love that. I do find that a lot when we're working to impact other people's lives. It intrinsically gives us some type of gratification.
Correct.
So that's what you're passionate about. Tell me, when you found out that was your passion, what was your first steps in taking action?
Well, a couple of days after Andre and Raja was killed, there was, well, not a couple of days, a couple of months after they were killed, someone else in the community was killed. And I just went out to the crime scene. You know, I don't know why I went out there. I just knew that I needed to be out there, you know. And once I arrived, I started talking to the family members that was there. And I just started to comfort them. I mean, I didn't know why I was there. I just knew I needed to be there. And once I started talking with them and comforting them and saying, hey, I've been through this recently, months ago, and my brother and his friend was killed, and it's an unsolved homicide. So let's kind of join together, you know, let's team up and go talk to the investigators, and let's just kind of partner to get justice for our loved ones. It was like a mission that I didn't know that I was about to start, but you know, God has plans for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so from there, what happened?
Well, from okay, I'm sorry. So from there, I just started showing up at other crime scenes. From there, I started reaching out to investigators and showing up to other crime scenes. You know, I didn't put a title to it. I just said, I just want to be here because I've been through it. I didn't have anyone to help me, and I wanted to be there for other family members. So this went on for probably about 10 years or more. And I didn't really start posts until 2015. Well, I didn't really give myself a name or the organization a name until 2015. And that was when my uncle was killed by the police. So it was like, I'm dealing with the gun violence, but I also need to deal with the police violence as well.
Right.
And I tell everyone the fight is very personal to me. So we started posting in 2015, and POST stands for Protect Our Stolen Treasures. Our treasures are the ones that we're losing to senseless gun violence and to police violence. So we need to protect them. And the motto is death requires responsibility. We feel that when a life is taken, someone needs to be responsible for it. Right. So we started POST, we started advocating for police accountability, and of course, I couldn't leave out gun violence. Well, my uncle was killed by a police bullet, but I was just thought about all the family members through the years that I had lost to gun violence. So I just said, okay, well, you know what? This is what activists do. This is what real activists do. And other people in the community was calling me that, but I don't think I wanted to take on that title then, because it was more that I wanted to fight for my family and get justice for my family, but showing up at crime scenes and you have people that are saying, well, hey, this is Candace here, this is Dr. Brewer here, and she wants to help. So it was like, okay, God has put something inside of me that I didn't even know was there, but I wanted to help people. And so I just started helping people.
Right. So did you always have a heart to help people even before you realized your mission, your personal mission?
Yeah, I've always helped people. Even growing up, my parents was divorced, so I had to help my dad raise my siblings. So even people in the neighborhoods, I would go help the elderly people. I would go to the hospital, want to visit the elderly, and just take them like fruits and vegetables. You know, I've always helped people. Even within the church. Even before we started doing police accountability and gun violence, I would help people with prison advocacy. I had family members that was in prison, so they would reach out and say, hey, this is going on, this, that, and the third. So I would start helping people then.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you first started showing up to the crime scenes, did you have any obstacles like with the investigators or the police that was on watch? Were there anything that you had to face?
Well, of course, law enforcement doesn't want you to be a part of their investigation, and they definitely don't want you to interfere in their investigation. So I would just stand to the side, and I would always walk up to an officer and say, hey, you know, I'm Candace Brewer, and I just want to be here, and I'm going to talk to the families, not knowing that this is bridging the gap between me and law enforcement, but also at the same time, I'm getting their contact information and I'm sharing it with the family members so that once they leave from the scene, they're able to reach out to the investigators and have a point of contact.
Right.
Okay.
So it sounds like when you first started, it was more of like forming a support group for the people who have experienced this in their life because that was something so personal to you. And then it blossomed into something else because you didn't know where God was taking you. So y'all started formalizing posts, right?
Right.
And do you have a brick and mortar now, or is it more like virtual or word of mouth? And how do you connect with others who need your services with posts?
Well, we do have an office in Greenville, and we have an office in Columbia, South Carolina as well. We also have an office in Detroit. We have 6 other chapters throughout the nation, and we're currently building other chapters. We do have a website. We have a Facebook page, and 9 times out of 10, when there's a crime happening, especially if it's gun violence, any type of gun violence, we send our team out to show up at the crime scene so we can introduce ourselves to the family. When we hear about it, we'll reach out to law enforcement or we'll reach out to the funeral homes and just tell them who we are and what we do in the community. And they always welcome us because they know that we are good people and we do this from our heart. And they want us to help the other family members. We also do grief counselings. Like I said, we do the police advocacy. We do the gun violence advocacy. So I've always felt who better than me to show up to help these families because I've been through it. I can talk them through it. I can help them. I can speak at the funerals. I can let them know, hey, I've been through it. I survived. You can survive also. And then when I start talking about, hey, I've lost 13 family members to gun violence, but I'm still here and I can survive and I can help you. You know, they tend to open up because someone that's been through exactly what they're going through, they want you there.
Right. It's always good to have somebody who can relate to what you've been through.
Correct.
To lean on, that understands your perspective and your loss.
And know what and what not to say.
Right.
Yes.
Because some people don't know what to say because they've never been through it.
Absolutely.
So I love that you are making yourself available to people who have experienced that. That's awesome that you're providing that type of support in the community. What would you tell a person? They live in the neighborhood. They experience shootings in the neighborhood all the time. And they feel kind of hopelessness. Most people say, you know, I just got to move out of the neighborhood because I got to get away from that. And that's most people's resolve or solution. But it sounds like you're like, we need to deal with this thing hands-on. So tell me more about that perspective.
So we do receive calls like that all the time, daily, probably multiple times a day. And we go out, we form a meeting in the neighborhood. We just talk with the neighborhood. We have them to write down their concerns, and we address their concerns. If it's about the gun violence, we will contact law enforcement just to see what they're doing about the gun violence. Make sure that they are aware that there are people in the community who don't want to be around this gun violence, that wants to live in peace. So sometimes we get the presence of law enforcement just riding through more, just to show that they are there. We form the neighborhood watch committees, and we have people that will actually go out, walk the community, make sure that there's nothing going on. And we don't send the folks out in the community by themselves. Like, we're trained for this, so we go out in the communities with them as well. We make ourselves known. We're known as the peace protectors. So we're out in the community protecting the peace. And we just walk through the neighborhoods. We talk to the people. If there's any type of issues going on between neighbors, we bring the neighbors together so that they can solve their issues, and we really try to make it a peaceful place for them.
So y'all do community mediation.
We do.
That's awesome. I love that. If a family or individual has been a victim of gun violence, like they've lost someone to gun violence, what do they need to do in contacting you guys, and what specifically can you help them with? I know you said you do grief counseling, you will do mediation if they need it. But if I just experienced a loss and I'm looking to connect with someone, what specifically can I look for your services for?
The first step would be to contact us. You can reach us at 864-360-6391. You can also find us on Facebook, send us an inbox message, and we're up under the South Carolina chapter of Post. You can also reach us by the web, and we are www.southcarolinapost.strikingly.com. Once you reach out to us, we will find out exactly what your needs are. And if you've just been a victim or you've lost someone to gun violence, we will have you to come to our office. We'll meet with you. If you're not available to come to our office, we will come out to your home or wherever you would like for us to meet with you at. We will sit down, we will talk to you about your experience, and we will write out a detailed plan of exactly what the next step should be. We have no problems with reaching out to law enforcement. A lot of times families find that law enforcement won't give them the answers that they need concerning what happened to their loved one. And we explain to them, it's an open investigation. Don't be mad at law enforcement. Let us reach out to them on your behalf to see what answers we can get from them. So we become like the liaison between them and law enforcement. So we reach out to them. We also help with funeral arrangements. A lot of times family members don't have insurance on their loved ones, which is very important, and everyone needs to make sure that they do get burial insurance on their loved ones. But we'll reach out to the funeral homes. We will help with like GoFundMes. We will help raise money for the funerals. We also help speak at the funerals. A lot of times family members have not been through this at all, unfortunately, but fortunately for them, we've been through it. So we help with the planning of the funeral. We also go and we speak at the funerals. We go to the burial also. We also do the grief counselings for them. My church in Spartanburg, which is called Kingdom New Life in Una, South Carolina, the first lady there, she offers grief counselings for the younger generation. Because a lot of times the adults, they may go out and they seek counseling, but then they forget about the younger kids that are left behind. So my first lady at the church, she offers the grief counseling classes for the younger generation. So we do that. We meet with the family, and we don't just throw them away once the funeral is over with. Like, we follow them until they say, we don't need you anymore. And we've never had anyone to say that. Like, we've been working with families for years and years and years, and we just want to be there to let them know that they can contact us. We never close. We're open 24/7. So they can call us, they can text us, they can inbox us. Someone is always going to be available. Sometimes they just want to know that someone is on the other end of the phone listening. Sometimes they just want to know that they can reach out to someone that's not going to be judgmental in the situation, and we'll go down to the house. No matter what time it is, we go there, and we just try to be there for them. We just try to be there for everyone because, like I said, when I first started experiencing gun violence in my life, I didn't have anyone. So I want to turn that situation into something good. I want to say, hey, we're here for you. No matter what, no matter when, we're here for you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
do you provide like courses so that people can have that awareness that they need burial insurance, and there's a whole preparation for, just in case something happens, as opposed to waiting until the thing happens?
Well, when we go out to the communities, we hold like gun violence workshops, and we tell people like, this is what to expect. We hope you never experience gun violence. We hope you never experience police violence. But if you do, this is what to expect. And so it's not that we're holding the courses or classes, but we're just doing the workshop, just showing them, hey, this is what to expect from beginning to end. A lot of people, they call us and they say, hey, my loved one just got killed, and they've been laying out on the ground up under a sheet for 5 or 6 hours, and they're mad, and they don't know that sometimes this is protocol and sometimes it happens this way. So we go out there, and even during like the workshops, we'll tell them sometimes that's protocol. And I know you don't want your loved one to be laying out there on the ground, but a lot of times the investigators are still investigating and they're gathering evidence, and they can't move the body until then. So once someone has been through exactly what they've been through, then they understand, because a lot of times they're out there, they're cursing at law enforcement, get my loved one off the ground. And I understand that.
Right.
I've been through that before,
Right.
So that's why we try to be there and be hands-on with them to let them know, they don't need to move him or her yet. They're gathering the evidence. We just try to walk them through it, even though they may not really hear us because they're so upset and they're crying. But to know that someone is there that has been through it, and I'll tell them, just let me go talk to law enforcement. Just try to give them a piece of security that I'm there and I care about what's going on.
Right, because you're not just sympathizing with people, you are empathizing because you have been through this, and you can definitely feel what they're experiencing, and it sounds like you're just you have the heart to just want to be like right there and just clutch them and hold them and be with them as they experience that. I love that.
I do.
So, go ahead.
No,
so if I wanted to attend a workshop, how do I get that information?
You can go to our website, or you can just give us a call and just let us know. And even if you want to just set up one in your community, you can just reach out to us and we'll plan one to come out to the community.
Okay, good, because I have a nonprofit called Empowerment Experience.
Okay.
And we do workshops at the library once a month.
Okay.
And I'm always looking to connect with people like yourself who have an expertise that they can share with the community to enlighten the community on different resources and ways to connect with other groups of people. And so I would love to have you come out to Empowerment Experience one month just to educate people on gun violence and all of your great services so they know how to seek those types of services if they were to experience that. But I'm curious to know what your thoughts are about prevention, and does your agency or the work that you do help with any type of prevention?
So we always like to be proactive in everything that we do. Number one, we do give out gun locks for free. So if you're in need of a gun lock, please don't hesitate to call us. And we give them out all over the world. Not only do we just give them out, but we teach people how to actually use the gun locks. We do teach about prevention. We tell people they need to keep their guns locked and secured. We also tell them that they need to keep them out of reach of children. We've been at so many crime scenes where a young person has died from senseless gun violence because the gun was in reach, or where a young person has even killed their parents because the gun was within their reach. We teach people that, we don't hate guns. I love guns, to be honest, but I am a responsible gun owner, so that's the difference. So we teach people to be responsible gun owners.
Wait a minute, because I don't know what a gun lock is. Is that like something that go on the case, or is it a vice that go actually on the gun?
It goes actually on the gun. Yeah.
Okay. for me because I was a little slow there.
It kind of looks like a padlock. It's smaller, and then it has this big, like
a wire.
Yeah, it's not a chain. It's more
Right.
like a wire.
Okay.
And then you feed the wire through the gun and then lock it so that it won't fire off.
Okay.
You sound like a responsible gun owner.
I am. I
Good,
am.
Good.
I guess I ain't responsible. I don't have no gun lock, but I'm gonna look into that for sure. So I have a question. In your bio, it talked about you being a private investigator.
Yes.
Tell me
us
about
more.
that. How did you get to that place, and what made you pursue being a private investigator?
Well, I've been a private investigator for about 5 years now. And the reason why I became a private investigator is because a lot of times law enforcement, when we go to them as a civil rights activist, when we go to them for information, a lot of times it's about them and they don't want to give us the information. And so it's like, hey, I'm Dr. Brewer. I'm a civil rights activist, and I want information on this officer. I want to pull his profile. I want to see everything on his background because he was involved in this shooting. And when they realize that we really are serious about what we're doing, they don't want to give us the information. So it was like one of those things where I need to be able to beat them, but I'm not going to join them. So I'm going to become a private investigator, because if you don't give me the information as a civil rights activist, well, I'm investigating this case. So now you need to give it to me because I've been hired as a private investigator to investigate it. So like I said, it was just, I don't want to join you, but I still need to be able to beat you though.
Right. So 2 questions come from that, because I would like to know, as a civil rights activist, are they by law required to provide you that information? Or what is it that you coming in and stating you're a civil rights activist would make them be inclined to give us that information?
Okay, as a civil rights activist, they don't legally have to give us the information. We will request like a FOIA, which is a Freedom of Information Act, for them to give it to us.
Okay.
But
They'll drag
as
it out.
as an outstanding activist in the community with no complaints, and they know that when we come to them, we're asking for information that could potentially lead to lawsuits against something that the officers, and not only officers, because we investigate homicides as well.
Mhm.
So they know that the information that we are asking for could actually lead to a lawsuit or someone being fired or someone being punished. So we would think that, hey, here's the information. We have nothing to hide. Go ahead and give it to us. And a lot of agencies do that, but a lot of agencies don't do that.
Right. So you've built up your credibility with the
Absolutely.
law enforcement in the area.
Absolutely.
And so they know who you are and know what type of work you're already doing. So they are most of the time inclined to work with you, right?
Absolutely.
But as a normal person who might find that this is my passion, what is there some type of credential or anything that I need to call myself a civil rights activist, and so that I can build that same credibility if that's something that I want to do?
Well, I would say first you need to get out into the community and do some work that a civil rights activist does. You need to be able to fight against any type of civil rights violations. If you want to join an organization such as Post, reach out to us. If you want to start your own organization, you can always reach out to Post, and we'll be more than happy to help you with that. But you need to start building credibility. You need to form some type of relationship with the police stations. You can also go down to the police stations, introduce yourself, and just let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I will be coming to you if there's any type of problems or concerns. You know, you can catch more flies with honey than any other way.
Right.
So it's like, let me go down here. Let me introduce myself. Let me tell you exactly who I am, exactly what I'm doing, what organization that I'm with. And if you ever have any problems or concerns, feel free to contact me. And I expect to do the same with you
Because
as
you work
well.
on both sides of the
Correct.
spectrum. Right. And that's probably part of your building relationship with
It
authority
is.
so that you can be respected and your work can continue on.
Correct.
Absolutely. So and you need to know the laws too, right? Because you can't just go in there trying to advocate for somebody blindly and talking about stuff you don't know what's going on or what your legal rights are.
Absolutely. I mean, even as far as knowing the laws, like I do know some laws. I'm not going to say I know all of them. They're changing every day, but I have a legal team and they know the laws.
Right.
So before I do anything, I reach out to my legal team first.
Right. Awesome. And then being a private investigator, what did you have to do to become a private investigator?
Well, I do have degrees in criminal justice, but I also reached out to this private investigator firm who sent me to their school, and I just learned more about it. A lot of it was what I already had knew from criminal justice classes, but going hands-on, doing investigative work with this other company, that's how I basically learned how to be one.
Okay, awesome.
And how long did you have to commit to working X amount of years for them or anything?
I didn't. Normally, they said that they would ask someone to commit to at least 2 years, but they knew me from the work that I do in the community, so I didn't have to commit to it.
Right there.
Yeah,
That's
that's all
awesome.
God.
So let me ask you, before Post took off, was there anything that you was doing in life that you wanted to do, or did you feel unfulfilled at the time? Like, what did you have going on before Post?
Yeah.
Well, I was doing counseling. I was doing my notary work, and I was just being a good Christian and being a good wife.
Yeah. Okay.
And was you like, not to be getting all in your business, but like, was you happy doing that? Like, did you feel fulfilled? Were you content? Or was there something that you just felt like you needed to be doing greater out in the world?
Well, I've always felt like it was something else that I'm supposed to be doing in life. I just never knew what it was, but I knew that I should be helping people no matter what it was. And so even as being like a stay-at-home mom and wife, I felt like it was other things that I needed to do. And that's why when my church would reach out to me and want me to come in and talk to the youth, it was no problem. Or we would always get the kids together in the neighborhood just to take them out to do fun things. I've just always felt like if the kids are with us, they're safe. You know, so we've always did things with the kids, taking them out in the neighborhood, having them come over to the house to stay, just to get away from whatever they have going on at home, teaching them about respect, teaching them their manners, helping them with schoolwork. So I've always been a hands-on person as far as like helping the people.
Okay.
So what would you tell someone, South Carolina transitioned from having to have a license to carry to being open carry state. So because of that, a lot of people decided, okay, yeah, I want to tote guns. And most people were already doing that anyway, regardless. But what would you say to people once they make a decision that they want to buy, purchase, and own a gun? What would you tell them?
Well, first I would tell them that they need to practice being a responsible gun owner. They also need to take some form of training of how to carry, use a gun. They also need to have training on when to use their weapon. I think that's the most important thing that people need to know. Because I've been to a lot of crime scenes where people just said, oh, well, he came in my store and he had a gun on him, and so I pulled out my gun and killed him. But you don't have a sign on your store that says no weapons.
Right.
So he had every right to be in your store. So I think people need to know the law to the fullest extent of the law in order for them to carry a gun. And I think that's about being a responsible gun owner.
Yes, definitely. Before I became a responsible gun owner, I was afraid of guns because I'm clumsy by nature. I trip over everything, hit my toe on everything, drop and break everything. And so, like, don't let me have a good glass of wine, a wine glass set, because it gets broke every time. But I was so clumsy. I guess my anxiety and things like that, I feared how I would operate a gun, or feared out of fear misusing a gun. And so my husband just always encouraged me, like, you just got to get your CWP. Just get your CWP. That way you can go through the training. You can learn how to use it. You can learn how to take it apart, clean it. You can learn how to fire it accurately. You can learn how to lock it away. And so once I went through the training, then I felt more comfortable. Absolutely. And we always, every now and then go to the gun range and still get that practice in so that you don't lose that muscle memory, right? Because if you don't fire your gun for a long time, you could get out of sync with it. So I definitely am an advocate for responsible gun ownership. We have a big safe and we lock our guns away so that our children can't get to them. So it's just about knowing how to use it and knowing how to control your weapon. When you can feel comfortable with your weapon, then for me it's like, when I feel comfortable with it, then I know in the event that I have to use it, I can use it correctly. Correct. I don't want to have to use it at all. But if I use it, I need to be on point with it too, because that's going to escalate a situation that could get completely out of hand. So when I use it, I need to be intentional about how I'm going to use it and use it accurately. I think that is a lot of the problem. I think that people have guns and then they don't really know how to fire them, don't really know how to use them, and then innocent lives are taken. And so talking about innocent lives or accidental death, what are the types of gun violence that your agency, you and yourself have been familiar with working with?
We work with all gun violence. Suicide, we go to suicides a lot of times. It doesn't really get covered on the media for privacy for the families, but we do work with suicides. We work with accidental deaths a lot. We also work with criminal cases a lot, just any type of gun violence. And I'm going to say not just gun violence, but we work with all types of violence because we also work with domestic violent cases as well. And a lot of times the police, they may murder someone with a gun, but a lot of times there's just plain police violence, whether they punch someone or they mishandle the case. So we work with all of that.
That's good.
I did want to say, at the gun ranges in Greenville County, they actually give you they give women a discount once a week to go to the gun range.
Oh, for real?
So,
any gun range in Greenville County?
Yeah, different. They all have different rules because they're private owned.
Right,
but
of course.
the days, I think Palmetto Armory did Wednesdays.
Okay.
So, but different days, different rules, but they all have like a discount day for women.
Right.
That's good information.
So, I have a question about the burial preparation, because one of my things back then was, why would I get life insurance? I'm not trying to get killed by my family member. No, because it happens more often than none. You have families who do get insurance and then they let somebody know just to make sure everything goes well. Right. And now you have the kids trying to kill their parents just to get their inheritance. And it's like, I'm not trying to put a target on my back. So why get the life insurance or the burial insurance? Yeah. I ain't trying to get bodied right now. Right.
And I think that people just don't even really know the importance of having life insurance. Absolutely. A lot of people don't get it when it's definitely a need.
Yeah, it's definitely a need. People need to get it, even getting it for your children at a young age, because you never know what's going to happen. And deaths occur, it's a part of life. We were born to die. So you could die from natural causes just as well as you could die from a criminal cause or accidental cause. And unfortunately, suicide. So people, they need to have burial, they need to have life insurance. And I would say the reason why it's more important is so that you can be put away comfortably, because a lot of times these families, the victim, they don't have any type of insurance. They don't have any money. So the families are putting up GoFundMe. They're putting out their Cash App. They're asking for Zelle information. And I would think that at a time like that, when someone has died for whatever reason, you don't want your family to be stressed out. You don't want them to be thinking about, how can I bury this person and how am I going to live without this person? So at least get some burial insurance to make the process a little bit more comfortable. And you don't have to tell everyone that you have the insurance. You know, of course, you can reach out to whatever. You can make your own plans, your pre-burial plans, and then find at least one close friend or one or two close friends or family members that you trust with your life, that you know is going to do the right thing when you do pass away. And just let them know that you do have this policy and where the policy's at.
Yes, ma'am. So do you got, when you're working personally with these families and people in the community, do you have a resource that you give people if they do want to inquire about life insurance?
Yeah, it depends on what area or what part of the community or what state we're in. And sometimes I'll just Google it, but we do have a couple of companies that we have worked with, and I'll just tell them, just reach out to these people and just make sure you get some insurance.
Right.
And we do that when we're out in the community doing like preventative work as well, because we don't want them to wait until something has happened and then they're stressed out trying to find some type of funding for it. So we tell them in the beginning, you know, it's important that you have burial insurance. It's important that you have a plan.
Yes, ma'am.
So who would I even talk to about burial insurance?
I mean, you could reach out to us. You could call our office. You can also Google it as well. Most people have smartphones. You can go on Facebook and just Google burial insurance, life insurance.
Mm-hmm. And I do have a personal contact. A friend of mine, she is a life insurance broker, and she actually wrote my policies for me. And she does have separate products that she can market to people. So if you just want to get a burial insurance plan, you can. And the great thing about their policy is they actually have a concierge service with that tied to theirs. So as soon as you get the policy, like as soon as I got mine about a month or so ago, I was able to have a connection with the concierge people, and I could just call them and set up my whole funeral arrangements now when I'm still alive.
Right.
So that way, in the event that I do pass, my family don't have to be stressed about the planning the funeral. I can pick my funeral home. I can pick out all of my arrangements. I can set my budget for it now. And then I'll know based on the death benefit from my policy how much will come out of that and how much will be left over for my beneficiaries. So, I mean, it's a great service to have. It's a hard conversation to have and a hard realization to accept.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, it'd rather be prepared when called than called and not prepared. And so I encourage families to definitely do your research, definitely get some life insurance on yourself and your loved ones, even small children, because you never know what's going to happen. Right. And if you need to get in contact with a life insurance broker, I have a personal contact I can connect you with. So inbox us, comment that you need more life insurance information, or reach out to us directly for worthywomenofwisdom@gmail.com.
Chop.
And we have a direct resource right here at Exit 19 Podcast Showroom. Our videographer, Chop, he is also an agent as well. So we have resources in the community available for you. So don't be afraid to ask for resources and direction.
Yeah, I need to get into that. But
Please.
I mean, you know, even though I haven't started that, one thing I can say, I be telling my brothers all the time, when I die, don't cry for me. Please celebrate. I don't want y'all to be sad. Yeah, I left.
Well, they ain't gonna be able to celebrate if they ain't got nobody to lay you down.
Right.
They gonna be stressing.
Exactly.
No, but I'm saying when I'm gone, like, don't mourn me. That's like sad. I know they gonna shed some tears or whatever,
Right.
but be happy and enjoy me while I'm here, because we
Yes.
all gonna leave at some point.
Yeah.
So celebrate me. Remember the good memories that we shared. Remember all things good. Don't cry too long. Don't get in no deep depression.
Right.
Don't lose yourself. Even though in reality, I can't tell you how to feel when I'm gone,
Absolutely.
because you don't really know until you get there.
Yeah, how you're gonna feel.
But I'm telling you while I'm
Yeah.
alive, just be happy for me that, you know, my spirit ascended into a better place. You know what I'm saying? But, you know,
Absolutely.
they gonna do what they gonna do. Ain't
Right.
nothing I can do. Ain't nothing. they
Right.
can do
Yeah,
when the
it's-
time comes. But be happy for me,
Right.
man. Ain't nothing about me was really sad. So why don't let that be sad either, you know?
I'm working with my father right now to try to get some life insurance because I told him, you selfish. You selfish. You don't want to get life insurance. What I'm going to do when you gone? Then I got to worry about how I'm going to bury you.
right.
And I shouldn't have to. Let's
That's
get
right.
that taken care of
Now, that's right.
So I definitely feel a need for it. A lot more people need to be able to be aware of the resources out there so that they
Correct.
can utilize those for their families.
That's right.
Yeah.
So is there something that we can do in our communities to try, going back to prevention, to try to prevent? I know you said you guys disseminate the gun locks and
Right.
things of that nature. You'll go out, you'll do community mediation
Workshops, yeah.
and workshops to spread awareness. But if I'm sitting on my porch and I feel like this is a incidental thing that keeps repeating itself in our community, what would you tell someone like that? How can they be a part of the change?
Well, I would say they need to contact Post. As I said before, our number is 864-360-6391. Reach us on social media. Reach us up on Facebook. Reach out to us, and we will come. Like, we're not afraid of anything, and we will come out. We will help in the community. We will figure out what the problem is. If you even know who's doing the gun violence, we will go talk to them as well, and you can remain confidential as well. We will not tell anyone that you contacted us, but we want to be a part of the solution and never the problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So have you experienced complications in neighborhood with gangs? Have you had to mediate gang members or conflicts with gang rivalries in the community?
We go out, we talk to gangs as well. We work with gangs. They even come out and do events with us in the community as well. We
Awesome.
call on truce days. There was a couple neighborhoods where there was a lot of gang activity, a lot of shooting going on. We went out, we spoke with them and just say, hey, just give us one day where the kids can be in the neighborhood to play, where we know they're going to be safe, and they do that.
Yeah.
It's just they get that title gang member when a lot of times they just need somebody to talk to. They just
Yeah.
need someone to put them on the right path. So we do that.
Right.
Go.
That also leads me to my next question. For the people who are committing the gun violence, are there services out there for them? Because like you said, most times it's just that they need to be able to speak to someone, or maybe they're dealing with a mental health issue or some type of emotions and they don't know how to deal with it. Are there services out there for those people?
Well, first, if someone has a gun and they don't want that gun anymore, they can reach out to us. We've partnered with a lot of law enforcement agencies where we can legally come and pick up the gun and go turn the gun in to law enforcement with no questions asked. Also, if someone doesn't want to be a gang member, or if they are known as the shooter in the community, they can reach out to us. And I know I keep stressing them reaching out to the organization, but we do a lot in the organization, in the community, and we have a lot of respect in the community. So if you're in something or involved in something and you don't want to be a part of it, you can reach out to us. Even as far as like criminal activity, if you want to turn yourself into law enforcement, you can reach out to us. We will take you to law enforcement, make sure that you turn yourself in safe. Like when we say protect our stolen treasures, we want to make sure that you know that Post will protect you. We want to make sure that you know that we will get you to wherever you need to be. We do job placements, we do job training, we do a lot of things in the community other than gun violence and police violence. We work with the youth on a day-to-day basis. We provide GED classes, we provide CNA training. We do we give away scholarships to kids, and we just whatever the need is in the community, we will meet the need.
Yes,
If it's
ma'am.
legal, we're going to meet the need for you.
Right. I love that. It sounds like you recognize that this is a problem,
It
but you
is.
also recognize the holistic approach that's needed to
Right.
prevent and solve the issue. So I love the work that you're doing because it does start when they're children, right? It starts with us programming them and raising them up in the right direction. And then as life can get to them, equipping them with the resources to finagle through life in a healthy way that doesn't lead to gun violence and victimization.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to experience anything that myself or my family has experienced. I said I've lost 13 family members to gun violence, 2 to police violence. So the fight is very personal for me and to me. So that's why I have no problem with being out in the community. If I can prevent anyone from experiencing the type of pain that myself or my family has felt from losing someone to senseless violence, then I'm going to try my hardest to do that.
So have you ever gone out into the community and feared for your own life?
I don't believe I have. First of all, I pray before I go anywhere. I
Yes,
send
ma'am.
the angels before I go anywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
So I stay prayed up, and I also carry guns myself in case I need them. But no, I mean, once I send the Holy Spirit out, it's okay. I can go anywhere.
I love it. I love it because it sounds like you're fearless in your ambition to want to create change. And I love that we need more people to spearhead initiatives like that in the community and be resources for people. I'm all about uniting the community. I think that we can do more together as a group of people than as a sole person. And so just spreading the awareness of what you're doing, hopefully people will tap in. I know that people probably are already plugged into your services, but I'm not from Anderson originally. I've been living here since 2015, but I wasn't aware. And so somebody like me is now aware of your services, and through the empowerment experience, I can refer people to you if they need it or if that comes up. So that's awesome. I love the work that you're doing.
Thank you very much. We give all glory to God. We're just about bridging the gap in the community. We believe that each one reach one, teaches one.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
The relationships that we form in the community. I've had a 8-year-old that came up to me one day. I had been out in the community, in his community, probably about 4 or 5 months, just mentoring the youth, talking to the adults, asking about job placements, asking about their skills, helping them with like credit repair classes. And this kid came up to me. He was like, "Dr. Candace, I'm so glad you came today. I am so happy to see you. I've been waiting on you." And I was just so excited. I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" He's like, "I need to talk to you by yourself." So he pulled me to the side, and he said, "I have something for you." He's like, "You said that I can trust you." I said, "You can trust me." He said, "I can tell you anything." I said, "Yeah, you can tell me anything." He said, "Well, I got something for you." I said, "Okay." So he ran off into the woods, and he came back, and he gave me a duffel bag, and it had at least 9 different guns in it. And I just got the bag, and I just had tears in my eyes. I didn't want him to see me crying, but I had tears in my eyes. And I asked him, I said, "Where'd you get this from?" He said, "You said you wouldn't ask me." I said, "Well, I'm not really asking, I said, "But are you safe with giving me these?" And he was like, "Yes, ma'am." He said, "You've been teaching us about gun violence, and I want to make sure no one gets killed." So this kid gives me this bag with 9 guns in this bag. And of course, I went and turned them in.
I can't imagine where he got them from.
This kid told me, he said, "Dr. Candace," he said, "I can get a gun before I can get food." And do you know how heartbreaking that is to hear a kid to tell me that he can get a gun before he gets food? And so, this is why this fight is personal to us. It's very personal to us. Saving someone's life, who's to say, who knows how many lives we saved by getting those guns out? And had we not been out in that community, forming that relationship so that people know that they can trust us, so many people could have been killed from those same guns.
Mm-hmm. That little 8-year-old is somebody's superhero.
Yeah, it's just so heartbreaking to know that. And later on I talked to him, but to know that some nights and days that he was hungry, but he could still get a gun. And that's just something to think about, because a lot of people, they don't want to be involved unless it directly affects them. But it affects us all, whether directly or indirectly. It affects us all.
It definitely does. Do you have any other questions for Dr. Brewer?
Yeah. So, IT. What made you go into IT?
Yeah.
Well, I just like learning new things. It doesn't matter.
I see.
Like it.
I
all the
over.
degrees, okay, the certification.
Yeah, I be all over. It doesn't matter. I could see something and say, hey, this sounds interesting, or this may be something that I need to learn in the future. I may need this one day. I may not need it right now. I may not even need it for another 20 years, but one day I may need to know that. Or I may run into someone that wants to know, hey, have you ever heard of this class? How is this? Do you have someone that can help me with this? I'm in this class in school. Can you help me? So I just like learning new information. You know, my dad used to say the only thing a person can't take from you is your education. So I just like to be educated.
Yes.
Okay. That's what's up.
And we're always talking about personal development and being that is a continuum throughout your whole life, always just wanting to learn new things, better yourself, become the best version of yourself. So why do you like learning new things? Or what is it? Is that a natural drive for you? Does somebody instill that in you? What would you tell someone that's maybe not so hit with, constantly pouring into themselves and learning new things and focusing on personal development?
Well, my mom, she taught me that, you need to be well educated, no matter how. You could never have enough schooling. So I've always enjoyed going to school, being in school, whether it's online or whether it's in person. But I've always wanted to be better than the person I was yesterday. Not to say that there's anything wrong with the person that I was yesterday, but today God woke me up. I have another chance to make things right. I have another chance to make things better. Not only that, but I have another chance to make someone smile today. I have another chance to make people better today themselves. So I feel like being educated, just like my dad said, that's something no one can take away from me. You can beat me, you can whip me, you can do whatever you want to do, but what's in my mind and what's in my heart, you can't take that away from me. So I would tell people, with everything that's going on in the world today, you need to pick up a book. You need to take time to read and not just scroll on Facebook or social media, but you also need to take time to go to the library, pick out a book, just read it. Not only read it to yourself, but find some young person and read that book to them as well. You could learn a lot between the covers of a book.
Absolutely.
How did you become a master life coach? But the master life coach, is it something that's in a part of the nonprofit, or is it something paid? And then who do you cater to?
Well, whenever I have time to perform the services, I will actually get paid for it. But in order to become a master's life coach, I had to take the 4 classes before that in order to become a master life coach. And once I did that, and I really did it because I wanted to help people in the community. Like, I try to center everything around posts because people are dealing with like marriage problems, financial problems, any other type of problems. And it's like, let me become this master life coach because I want to implement this in posts. I'm always thinking of a way to make posts better every day.
Yeah.
So that's why I obtained those certificates.
So that you can be equipped with the skills in the event that in the moment somebody needs the service, you can provide it.
Correct.
Yep.
That's
no
awesome.
excuses for the community.
Right.
No excuses.
Yeah,
no excuses.
No
No
excuses.
excuses.
I love it.
It takes a village, man.
Definitely.
And you building that.
Definitely.
And I would say it's,
Definitely
it's not me, it's all God. I have to give all credit to God. I'm just a willing vessel. He says go. I'm like, you sure? He's like, go. And I just go.
Yes, I love that.
So when she brought up the question about fear of going into the community, my thought was like, well, she was chosen for this, so God is always going to protect her.
Yes. And I know that, but I just wonder.
I have a post that I put on Facebook a lot, and it says, I did not choose to be an advocate. I became an advocate because I had no choice.
Right.
And that's pretty much the truth.
Right. And I just brought that up because some people may be living in their community and want to do something about it, but are fear of the repercussions that may come behind it, or being labeled the snitch, or just being shamed for wanting to stand up and defend their community.
Well, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yes, ma'am.
And
even those bullets.
Yeah. And you have to be the change that you want to see in your community.
Absolutely.
And you have to look at it. Is this a community that I'm okay with my children growing up in? Is this community I'm okay with my grandchildren growing up in? If I'm not okay living in it, why would I want someone else to live in it? So what can I do to be the change that I want to see in my community?
Right.
Do you want popularity or you want safety? Just pick a side.
Yeah. Right. Pick a side. Well, thank you so much for joining us on today. I just love the work that you're doing. If there's any way that myself, Worthy Women of Wisdom, or even Empowerment Experience can support Post, I would love that opportunity. And like I said, I'd love to have you come out and share a workshop through our Empowerment Experience as well. So we'll connect about that in the future. But I have something for you. We have something for you as Worthy Women of Wisdom.
Thank y'all for having me here today. Thank you.
We want to crown you as a worthy woman of wisdom. Thank you, Dr. Candace Brewer, for all that you do.
Thank you so much.
Doing that great work. Thank you.